We could be on the brink of civil war, and the Biden administration is using executive action to tell us what we're allowed to do in our own home with our own firearms. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. This is what we're talking about today. As you guys probably know, if you've been watching the news at all during this last week, there is a very tense situation going on right now at our southern border. Basically a standoff between the Biden administration and Texas Governor Greg Abbott over securing our southern border. And the term civil war has been trending in the news across social media. Hopefully that's not where this goes, but there's crazy stuff going on. And at the same time, something that I think a lot of people missed this week, because I haven't seen much about it, the Biden administration passed an executive action telling us how we have to store our guns. Make sure you're subscribed and let's talk about this. Our country is more divided than maybe ever before since the first Civil War, hopefully the only Civil War. Maybe more divided even than it was then. We have a lot of groups of people, but mainly it seems like half the country believes one thing and half the country believes another on just about every issue. It's divided very much down the middle. And right now we've got this situation going on at our southern border where, under the Biden administration, we've had over 6 million illegal immigrants cross the border, again, illegally, in the last 3 years. Over 300,000, I believe, just in the last month. Well, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, finally has had enough. And so he took matters into his own hands. And he's had the Texas National Guard putting up razor wire along the Rio Grande River to prevent people from being able to get in so easily. Well, the Biden administration has fought that, and in fact even got a Supreme Court ruling saying that they could cut down the razor wire. Well, they gave Texas until the 26th to let them in to do that, and Texas said, hell no, you're not going to do it. And we now have 25 other Republican governors across the country backing up Texas, saying that they're going to help them with their own National Guards. Kristi Noem saying that she'll bring them more razor wire. And it has become a very tense situation down there with the federal government and the Texas National Guard kind of facing off. Now, I'm recording this on Saturday the 27th. It's going to come out on Sunday the 28th. We'll see what happens between these 2 days. But the point is that things are looking kind of, like I said, very tense in there. I'm going to read a quote real quick from the Oklahoma governor. I mean, right now you've got the federal agents who are cutting the wire, and then you've got the Texas National Guard on order to put up wire. This is a powder keg worth of tension. It's a very weird situation. We certainly stand with Texas on the right to defend themselves. And so the leaders of half the states in the country, 25 governors, are on Texas's side. Of course, those are the Republican governors. There are no Democrat governors on Texas's side. They are, I believe, standing with Joe Biden on this. Well, what I want to get to is this. Is within this last week, we also had an executive fiat passed down telling American gun owners what they're allowed to do in their own homes with their guns. And I think that it is the absolute worst possible time, but maybe it's by design, to tell us how ready we can be with our firearms when the country might be on the brink of a civil war. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not want to see a civil war. I love my country. And I want to see us united, not torn apart. But things are looking a little bit crazy right now. And again, hopefully that kind of thing won't happen. But if something like this is on the brink of something happening, well, it is our duty to be absolutely ready. We should have magazines loaded. We should be stocked up on ammo, and we should be practicing and training with our firearms. And if something was to kick off, well, you want to be at the ready. And the Biden administration has recently passed this thing on safe gun storage. So they're making all these claims. 4.6 million children living in homes with improperly stored guns. Well, how did they get that number? 4.6 million, heads of household really said, oh yeah, we've got kids and we improperly store our guns. I kind of have doubts about that. So are they just getting these numbers that there's 4.6 million homes that also own guns and also have children? Because I have a kid and I have guns in my home, but they're not improperly stored. They go up on the wall behind me when I record videos. They're locked up in safes and elsewhere when I'm not. Also, my daughter's 12 years old. She's been around firearms a lot. She goes to the range with me. She understands the danger of firearms and how serious they are. And she understands about gun safety. And even if there was a gun out, she wouldn't grab it and take it off safe and pull the trigger. And I think that most gun-owning households are similar, where firearms owners are some of the most responsible members of society that there are. Owning guns makes you have to be a very responsible person because it is a huge responsibility. You literally own something that could kill or really hurt people. And so you have to be responsible with them. And part of what our country is founded on is freedom. And I don't think that it's up to the government to tell us what we can and can't do with our things. They need to be able to trust us to be responsible with firearms, as I'm sure the vast majority of firearms owners are. Now, for one thing is this. A big reason that people own guns is for home defense. Well, how well can you defend your home if someone's kicking in your door and you have to go over to your safe and put in the combination, whether it's digital or a real dial safe? I've got both. And it takes you however long it takes you to get it out of there, load a magazine, rack it, and then be at the ready. Well, someone could already be in your home by that point. You might already be dead. And so you need to have the freedom to be able to stage your guns properly for a home defense situation. Now, I'm not saying just keep your guns out irresponsibly all the time, but there two things can be true at once. You can have your guns properly stored, secured, safe, locked up, but you can also have them at the ready. There's things like quick access safes. I've got one sitting next to my bed. There's also the thing where you put your kids to bed and then you pull out your home defense gun, put a magazine in it, and have it at the ready by your bed at night. Your kid is not going to come in and grab your gun and shoot it while you're sleeping next to it. Gun owners are very responsible and they think about these things. And it is not up to the government to tell us what we can and can't do with our tools. Now, I believe that the state of Texas does have the constitutional authority to protect itself from an invasion. And with the numbers of people that are coming across the border, technically that is an invasion. And, they've caught people that are on the terrorist watch list. Well, what about the people that they haven't caught? And if this is dividing the country in half right now, and we've got the possible use of force on both sides of the issue, well, then I think that it is a necessary time to be prepared and to be ready. And it is not the right time to be told what you can and can't do with your guns in your own home. And I'm almost wondering if, the Biden administration does these kinds of things. Do they want the gun-owning population to not be ready at a time when they're literally at odds with the gun-owning population? These populations overlap a lot. People that own guns tend to be more on the Republican conservative side of things, which happens to be the side that Joe Biden is facing off against. Is there a reason that they want us not to be ready with our firearms right now? I don't know. I don't wear a tinfoil hat, but I do wear a hat. Let me know what you guys think down below, because I don't believe that it should be up to the government to tell us anything about what we can and can't do with our own personal property, especially firearms, being that the Second Amendment literally has "shall not infringe" in the wording of the Second Amendment, part of our Constitution. And, telling people how they have to properly store their firearms, if people are irresponsible enough to improperly store their firearms? Do you think that just because the government tells you you have to do it a certain way, that they're going to now all of a sudden do that? No. But the people that already are responsible, they're already responsible. It doesn't matter what the government tells them. They don't need anybody telling them how to be responsible. I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments. I love reading your comments and I reply to everyone. Please subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Give me the thumbs up. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.